Welcome to the United Stand. A Manchester United £200 million transfer swoop. I hardly believe it myself. I would actually say that this day has been another mundane day in relation to Manchester United transfer news if it were not for the outlets that are reporting these stories. It's ridiculous. You've got a credible outlet close to Lille saying that we're in for Pepe. You've got Sky Sports now, an independent, saying that the Fernandes deal is moving along. You've got a pretty credible Italian outlet saying that United are very close to signing Milinkovic-Savic. You've got Newcastle outlets saying that United are expected to sign Longstaff. So it is a day of transfer movement, whether we want to say it or not. If this was in May, we'd all have a hard on. Let's be honest. I know it's vulgar, but we would. Well, not all of us, because there are ladies at present, and that would be something completely different. So it wouldn't be a lady, really, would it? Or would it? I don't know. I don't want to go down that road. But what I want to say is that there is quite a lot to get through as well. Gazzetta dello Sport are saying the Lukaku deal's off as well. Woodward's not going on the tour. There's loads. There's absolutely loads to talk about tonight. So for anyone who thinks it's not boring, or where's the question mark on the title, I've put an exclamation mark because I can tell you where everything's coming from, and there is a lot to get through. There is a lot to get through. I mean, look, there's man out there thinking that we're going to get 4 signings done in 16 days. No, we're not going to do 4 signings in 16 days, are we? Surely, no, we're not. I mean, some people don't think we're going to do any, but there is a lot out there. And look, let's just crack straight into it. So, where to start? So, let's start off where the day started. So it started off with Nicola Pepe, who the president of Lille has been very, very clear that a couple of months ago that Nicola Pepe will leave Lille. There's no problem with the president about that. Obviously, they want the fair money, and he's come up against recently and said that he will go. In fact, it's very close to being done. There's a lot of offers going in for him, and United just seem to have been involved in this deal, like many of you want to, but I just don't see it. I just don't see that we're in for Nicola Pepe, and then you get this story, and let me get it right. Lavoy, that's rubbish writing. Anyway, it's a local. Get French football news. Get French football news, who are a good aggregator of French football news. They basically quoted this outlet, which I can't remember what it's called because my writing's terrible. Lavoy Durand or something like that, who are a local Lille outlet, and Get French Football News says they're very credible, are saying that Manchester United have made a £70 million bid for Nicola Pepe. So you've got to take that on board when it's a local outlet saying it. It's a bit like the Longstaff one, which we'll talk about in a moment. So they're saying that United have put a £70 million bid in for Nicola Pepe, which is just totally ridiculous, but actually isn't, because somebody said today, what? We're after Maguire and Fernandes, and then we suddenly decide we want a right winger, which we should have done in May. But having said that, Nicola Pepe played in the AFCON. He's probably had his holiday now, and now he's ready to move. It's logical, if United are in for him, that now would be the time you do that deal. So for anybody who wants Nicola Pepe, I do understand the timeline of it. We've not been linked to him. We haven't really been linked to him. And he has been playing in the AFCON. And it would be like if we're in for Thomas Partey or we're in for Koulibaly. Again, these deals wouldn't be able to do till the end of the transfer window. So United in for Nicola Pepe. What do I think about that? I mean, that's 70 million straight away. Look at this again. If this was in May, I'd be like, yes, we should be all over this deal. We need a right winger. But I think because we've not really been linked to the right winger, and we've spoken about it a lot this summer, I just don't feel we're going to sign a right winger. But maybe we are. Maybe this will develop into something with Nicola Pepe, and maybe the outlet close to Lille who are saying that we're in for him are going to be proven right. I think we'll just have to jump on the horse and see what happens with that one. Will it gallop? Will it not? It might be lame. It might not be. So I don't feel like we're in for him. And to be honest with you, maybe I've sort of kidded myself to go, well, we've got Greenwood, we've got Chong who can play in that position. Let's wait for Sancho. I mean, look, the whole let's wait for Sancho nonsense is just a fan theory, which to be honest with you, I've said it as well. It holds no water. Let's not buy a right winger now and wait for Sancho. It's a load of crap. When have you ever heard that really happening? I think it's happened once or twice where a player's waited a year to come to us, but if Jadon Sancho has a good season next year, Real Madrid or Barcelona will move for him and we won't get him anyway. So I think if the right wing is available, you've got to go for him now. So let's wait and see what happens with Nicola Pepe. The board have made a rod for their own back. We are running out of time. This board needs to deliver or the fans could turn, says Philip Burtonwood. Well, we'll talk about Bruno Fernandez in a moment, but let's talk about La Repubblica in Italy, which again, they're considered to be quite a good outlet. They're saying, and no other Italian outlet is, so read what you like, that Manchester United are very close to signing Milinkovic-Savic on a €70 million deal. Now, this is... A lot of people are saying, well, this is just being put out there to make Sporting Lisbon sell as Bruno Fernandez and to scare them. But then other people are saying, well, no, this is the deal that United are doing before they let Pogba go. Milinkovic-Savic is coming into United and Pogba will go to Real Madrid, and that's why Pogba looks so relaxed in training. He still wants to go, but he knows United are trying to get a replacement, and then he'll be allowed to go. And Pogba may well still be a United player for the game against Chelsea, but he might go the game after that because Real Madrid's transfer window doesn't close. So the Pogba deal doesn't have to be done before August the 8th, as long as we've got the replacement in before that. And that's basically the storyline with that. So again, it's become a little bit... It's becoming, I mean, Rio Mia says that Sky Sports has become our new homepage. It's crazy. Tonight's show's crazy. It's the hardest show I've probably done all summer because there's so many stories to cover. So yeah, we've done Pepe. We'll talk about Milinkovic-Savic now. So this is coming from La Repubblica in Italy, and they're saying that United are very close to signing Milinkovic-Savic, and he will effectively be Pogba's replacement. Which is what I've said all along. I've said I don't believe the Milinkovic-Savic story. I think we're being used. I think he'll go to PSG. The only reason I could see Milinkovic-Savic coming to Manchester United is if we sold Paul Pogba. And I thought we were getting to that point when we wouldn't sell Paul Pogba. But then you've got to be very careful of silence. Silence is danger. Silent violence, because Raiola and Pogba have said their bits. There was that story about a week ago where Madrid had said to them to be quiet. They have gone quiet. Pogba is smiling. Maybe he knows he's going to get the deal he wants in Real Madrid. Maybe we're just waiting to sign Milinkovic-Savic. Maybe we are going to sign Milinkovic-Savic and then Pogba goes. So let's wait and see what happens with that. What I would say about Milinkovic-Savic is I'm not going to delve into the ins and outs of him. I mean, I spoke about him a lot more last summer. Everybody knows I like him. I felt he was more of a Mourinho signing because he's physical. He is tall and physical, but he's got a lot more than that to his game. There was a plonker about a year ago who called him he's basically the Serbian Fellaini, which is just ridiculous. He's nothing like Fellaini. I mean, he's decent in the air. Fellaini isn't, for a start. But no, he's nothing like Fellaini. He has got techers. He can create goals. He's a good midfielder. And he would be a replacement for Pogba effectively if Pogba went. I don't know whether he can be as good as Pogba because Pogba's a very good player, but we'll just have to wait and see on that. Mike Hawksmore says, remember the winter is coming video from the summer United signed Pogba. Look at Madrid since then compared to United. Been a long few years, hasn't it? I know what he's on about. We signed Paul Pogba and I sort of did the winter's coming, take a siesta, sit down. We've got Pogba, you haven't. They went on to win 3 Champions Leagues in a row, didn't they? So, it didn't go the way I wanted it to. Rohit Tapata says, congratulations on 500,000 subscribers. Could Greenwood play right wing if we don't get a right wing with Martial up front and Rashford on the left? Rohit, you know what? I was only thinking about this earlier. In fact, I'm going to do a video on this later in the week. But yeah, I do think that Greenwood, Rashford and Martial could be an interchanging front three with people like James and Lingard on the bench. I think it could work quite well. Please do smash a like on the video, everybody, and make sure you subscribe if you are new. We're getting close to 509,000. In fact, we could hit it tonight if you click that bottom corner and subscribe. And also, we had a super chat here from Vinny Trims Shaves. Still need 50% deadbeats. Why does board muggers off? Well, look, we've got lots to talk about tonight, and they're all coming from outlets that are considered to be pretty credible. The Lille outlet saying that we've bid 70 million for Pepe. The Italian outlet saying that we're close to signing Milinkovic-Savic. So that's 2 down. Let's talk about Bruno Fernandez. It's just a ridiculously busy day without United actually doing anything, if that makes sense. I don't feel that we're close to a signing, but there's just loads of stuff out there today. So Bruno Fernandez, this is, look, I'm going to sink with the Bruno Fernandez ship. I'm not jumping off it. People have said to me, here's the life draft, Mark. Jump on it with us. It's called He's Not Signing, and we'll forgive you. We'll save you. Jump on the life raft because we're off. We're not signing him. And I've super glued my hands to the rudder, and I'm going to drive this ship Fernandez wherever it goes. And if it hits an iceberg and sinks, I'll sink with it. But if it ports in Manchester at Old Trafford and he signs for us, I'll be right, because I've been riding this ship. I'm glad I said ship and not horse. I've been riding this ship since March, and I am convinced that Bruno Fernandes will be a Manchester United player. And I'm going to sink with the ship if I'm wrong, but I'll be smashing champagne against the bottle if I'm right. But it's funny because I saw somebody on Twitter today. They didn't tag me on Twitter, and I don't like people who do that. They basically said, show me a credible source that Bruno Fernandes is coming to United. All I've seen is Portuguese crap and Goldbridge. And I'm like, look, there is credible sources out there. I'm one. But no, there is credible sources out there. We had Simon Peach interviewed by Flex last week. He said he was 5 out of 10, 50% chance that Bruno Fernandes would come to United. 50-50 for a tier 1 credible journalist who said United and Solskjaer like Bruno Fernandes. So there's your credibility if you want it. But we've had more today. Sky Sports have said United in for Bruno Fernandes. The Independent have said United in for Bruno Fernandes, and it's not dependent on Paul Pogba. So there are developments with Bruno Fernandes. I think some people are concerned because he's obviously in America and he's going to play for Sporting Lisbon against Liverpool tomorrow night. But you've got to stay the course. You've got to stay the course. And all I'm going to keep saying about any signing is that if United pay the price, they'll get the player. And there was something today, I don't know whether, I think it was Sky Sports who said it, that Bruno Fernandes wants to play in England and Sporting Lisbon will sell for £60 million. They won't sell for €62 million because that's less than £60 million, but they'll sell for £60 million. So with Bruno Fernandes, I don't really have loads to offer, but there is some development there for you to chew on. RTS Motorsport says, I think United's summer business is done. Maguire and Bruno will turn out to be another Griezmann situation. Names being linked to pure press speculation. You might be right. You might be right. And Aidan Healy says, what if Pepe was already agreed in principle before the AFCON? That's why we weren't linked to any wingers. Loving the show. Keep up the good work. Roll on 1 million. And I do think Aidan could be right on that. I mean, I've always said this. I've craved a deal that nobody realised was happening. Like the Eric Bailly deal that just came from nowhere. I would love Pepe to suddenly be a deal that nobody knew about, that was agreed before the AFCON. The reality is you've got to be very careful about Pepe, because if you're worried about Liverpool getting Bruno Fernandes, Liverpool will sign a player, and I think it might be Pepe anyway. So, yeah, I'm not convinced United will sign Pepe, but I would take him. I would definitely take him. I think he would give us something. But is Pepe dependent on Lukaku going? Because Gazzetta dello Sport, the Italian outlet, are saying that Conte's been told the Lukaku deal can't be done, and they're looking at Dzeko now. If the Lukaku deal can't be done, I'd say I'll pull my hair out, but I want to keep my hair. My dad's bald. I don't want to be bald. But I do despair at United if they don't take a Lukaku deal. And I still think a Lukaku deal will be done. I'm not going to get depressed about it yet. But I think if United dig their feet in too deep with Lukaku, you'll never get an offer like this again. So you're going to have to play him. And we all agree that he's not the right player for Solskjaer's system. But I know United want 70 million, but they might have to take 60 million. And the simple reason is, who's going to pay 70 million for Lukaku if Inter Milan don't? Nobody. Nobody's in for Lukaku other than Inter Milan. And next year, Ollie would have to be playing him every week to make him a 30 goal a season striker to sell him for 70 million anyway. Ollie doesn't want to do that. So next year he scores 10, 15 goals as a bit part player. He's not going to go for 70 million anyway. So United, it's different. Some people said, up Inter Milan's arse. They did this with us with Perisic, so why should we not? It's a different situation. We wanted Perisic, we didn't pay the price, but Perisic continued to be a good first team player for Inter Milan. Lukaku is surplus to requirements. Everybody knows that. And I think we got to get this Inter Milan deal done over the line, and maybe that will free up other deals. Matt Rush, it's nearly midweek. If we sign Maguire and Fernandes, how the hell are they going to bond with the first team before Chelsea? No idea from Woodward. Very good point, Matt. Totally agree with you on that one. What I would say is that if Paul Pogba goes, I think Pogba will play against Chelsea. I think if Pogba goes, he'll still play against Chelsea. So this rhythm that we're all worried about and players bedding in, etc., I think against Chelsea you could see midfielders like McTominay and Pereira playing because, like you say, the signings we make aren't ready to play. And that's the board trying to, do whatever they're trying to do. It's not ideal, is it? Cantona, the greatest number 7. Mark, you are like a B-side on an LP record playing over and over again. We ain't getting any of these players. And why are you so convinced that Bruno will be successful? Cantona, the greatest number 7. I think you need to understand the concept of a fan channel. I don't really want to waste any time on you, but you need to understand the concept of a fan channel. We're not Sky Sports. We're not Manchester Evening News. I've just spoken to you for the last 15 minutes about the latest Manchester United transfer news in the last 12 hours. I was last live with you lot at 7 a.m. 13 hours ago. So what I do is I fill the gaps in as a fan channel between those 13 hours and discuss the new news. That's why I said Lille news outlet, 70 million for Pepe. That's why I said La Repubblica from Italy, Milinkovic-Savic. That's why I said Sky Sports and Independent, Bruno Fernandez. This is new outlet news that we are discussing on a show that we didn't know about on the last show. You might find it boring because it's the same players that we're being linked to, but these are new stories. If you don't like it or you don't grasp it, maybe listen to that last minute again and again and again till it drops. Sorry to everybody who does understand, but we get this quite a lot on the Transfer Daily. People think, some people, they're a minority, they're a 0.01% idiot club, but they think the stuff I'm talking about is pulled out of my arse. Which is why, for the last 3 years, I've always said where the story's coming from, and then you give your fan opinion on it. That's how it works. Mark, will you please say my name 3 times fast? Mike Hawk Small, Mike Hawk Small, Mike Hawk Small. It didn't work. I know what you're trying to do. Because I'm very good at that sort of thing. Right, so he's... if we sign Bruno, the proper 12 and gin is the agenda, says Rio Mia. We're only halfway through these stories anyway. And... Charlie says, right now, Lukaku or Zlatan. Right now, Lukaku, because Zlatan's playing in the American League and he's past it. He was past it anyway when we got rid of him. So, yes, definitely for me. Definitely for me. Lo Celso will probably go to Spurs. I must just say, actually, talking about the Spurs game, because we're only a couple of days away from that, I'm very excited about that. And actually, if you didn't see the last upload on the channel today, Flex and Josh out in China, real interesting vlog that is. Probably my favourite vlog they've done so far. I know they've done Perth and Singapore, but China's a mystery, isn't it, to a lot of us? It's like, what's it all about? What's the big idea? They don't speak like that. They don't speak Irish, but they speak Chinese, which I'm not going to do an impression of because people won't like it. So, yeah, really interesting. But... they were at the team hotel today, and because not a lot of people have travelled to China because of various reasons, Flex got a handshake off Lingard, he had a little chat with Chong, he cracked a joke with Ollie. You can see those little clips on Twitter, but they'll be on the vlog tomorrow, and we're pitch side again for the open training session. So lots to come with that. Look, Prince Anara, I'm sorry, you've just been deleted by Paul Robinson and Smutty for talking crap, blabbering crap. But... so, we spoke about Bruno Fernandez there. Let's next talk about Harry Maguire. So, I've not got loads to say on Harry Maguire because you get videos of people saying, the latest with Harry Maguire. What's the big idea with Harry Maguire? The truth about Harry Maguire. What's going on with Harry Maguire? Look, I can summarise what's going on with Harry Maguire in 60 seconds. Coming up for 3 weeks ago, I was told by somebody close to Leicester that Manchester United want Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire wants to come to Manchester United, and if Manchester United offer £75 million or more, Leicester will accept it. That is the situation. That is the situation. The problem is Manchester United have not offered the £75 million yet. So Harry Maguire keeps playing in pre-season games. He played last Tuesday, he played last Saturday, and he's playing tonight right now for Leicester. So all these people who keep saying... done deal, done deal, done deal. We had done deal last Monday. We've had done deal on Sunday. It's not a bloody done deal. Because if it was a done deal, they wouldn't play pre-season games. Imagine Harry Maguire tonight tears his hamstring in 2 and he's out for 3 months. And it's a done deal. No, it's not a done deal. And the reason it's not a done deal is because he's playing in pre-season games. So whatever. But what did we say? What did we say with Wan-Bissaka? And this is the worry with the transfer window about to close. It took 3 or 4 weeks to do the Wan-Bissaka deal. It's about 2 or 3 weeks since we put the first bid in for Harry Maguire. So average-wise, expect Harry Maguire to sign sometime in the next 2 weeks. Cantona, the greatest number 7. Mark, I know how it works. It's just banter. I love the show. But please explain with an honest answer why are you so convinced Bruno would work in the UK? Well, I'm very glad you can take a bit of banter because obviously it was a bit of sarcasm from me as well. A lot of people are going to be very bored by this answer, though. Why am I so convinced Bruno Fernandez is going to sign? Because I'm a stubborn little shit, and I don't back down. That's why. No, look, I was told in March, very, very quickly, that Manchester United's priority signings going into the summer were Bruno Fernandes number 1, Jadon Sancho number 2, and Thomas Meunier number 3. Now, obviously, people will say, you've made us feel really confident now because we didn't get Meunier and we didn't get Jadon Sancho. But there's a story behind that. Jadon Sancho was interested in coming to United, and United were interested in signing him. But when we didn't get Champions League football, that deal became impossible. Now, I don't know whether it was because Jadon Sancho didn't fancy playing in the Europa League, or because United didn't want to outlay £100 million when they weren't in the Champions League. But that deal died because we didn't get top four. If we had got top four, I think we would have got Sancho. So that I was happy that information was correct. Meunier, Manchester United were in for Meunier, and Meunier was leaving PSG, but now he stayed. And what happened there is, I don't know whether it was because Meunier decided to stay, or more likely, United want Wan-Bissaka, but they weren't in for Wan-Bissaka until the end of May. Because if you remember at the start of May, Wan-Bissaka was saying he was staying, Crystal Palace was saying he was not available. And around the end of May, United got an inkling, or were given a nod that Wan-Bissaka was available, and that's why they went for Wan-Bissaka. And a transfer window is very changeable, so of course you can. What's true in March isn't going to be true now. So people would say, well, why are we still in for Bruno Fernandez then? United spent so long scouting him. They've spent so much time scouting him, and I was told Ole Gunnar Solskjaer really wants Bruno Fernandes by that person who told me that as well. So I've not seen anything to make me think we're not in for him as well. I think it's so logical. We need two midfielders. Herrera went, Fellaini went. We need a midfielder. We need two midfielders, so that's why we wouldn't not be in for him anymore. And also, we need a midfielder that, whether Pogba stays or not, shares the load with Pogba, has some creativity and goals and assists in them, because it was all Pogba last year. So, bit of a long answer, but that's why I think we are still in for him. And I'm adamant we're still in for him. Thank you for keeping the USA in the loop with the news, says Phil Mihols. Thank you very much, mate, for the contribution there. And we've still got we've got to talk about Sean Longstaff as well. So I will have to do a recap for you at some point, because there's just been so much to talk about on this show. That with regards to Sean Longstaff, and this isn't Sky Sports or anything like that, it probably will be soon. This is coming from the Newcastle Chronicle, which I think is always good. You know, I've been reading the Leicester news and stuff like that, because the local news have got local reporters who follow these clubs for years and years. So the Newcastle Chronicle are saying that Newcastle are fully expecting another bid from Manchester United for Sean Longstaff. Remember, we were going to play about 25 million. They're saying that Newcastle would like 50 million, but would likely accept 30 million. Well, Newcastle have just spent 40 million on a player today, which is not far off what we've spent in our transfer window, is it? We've only spent 65 ourselves. So, will Newcastle be looking to recoup that money from Sean Longstaff? I don't know anything about this player that they've bought. What position does he play? I don't really know. I think it's 40 million. If he is a midfielder, is that a case of getting a midfielder in before Longstaff goes? I don't know. But I've always said this. Paul Robinson, one of our mods, is very excited about us signing Longstaff if we sign him. I understand the ridicule he gets on Twitter and social media. I do get that. But I've always said, there is, as much as I'm not confident about the deal, there is a big part of me that is excited by the persistence that United have had around Longstaff, because nobody knew who he was coming into the summer until in May, when United got linked to him. And I just think if United get this right, and they really have seen a diamond in the rough, this could be one of the great signings. Although 30 million is a lot of money. If we don't sign any more and the players let Ollie down again, and we're struggling for top four around Christmas time, would you give Ollie the sack, says Sebastian Anderson? I think he could be sacked if we're struggling around Christmas, but I think it would be very unfair on him if he was sacked because he didn't get the players that he wanted. But that's the life at Manchester United, isn't it? I mean, I totally agree with Mourinho being sacked, but he didn't get the players he wanted last summer, did he? So, you know, you could always be sympathetic of that. But I'd be massively sympathetic of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I mean, look, when you see the clip tomorrow of Flex in the hotel and Ollie walks past him and he says, "It's hot, isn't it?" And Ollie goes, "It's too hot." And then Flex says to him, "We could do with Victor Lindelof for a bit of ice." And Ollie's laughing back at him. You think, you know what? He's just I'm sure he's a bit of a shithouse in the dressing room. I'm sure he has got a nasty side, because you need that. But the way he conducts himself in the public with the fans and everything, he's just such a nice bloke. And he's a legend of the club as well. So, look, I want him to be successful. I really do. Christian Terran says, opinions on the possibility of having Fernandes, Pogba and Savic as our midfield three. I think that's never going to happen, Christian. I've seen a few people talking about that. I think that's never going to happen. I don't think Manchester United would spend £130 million on two midfielders and keep Paul Pogba. I think if we get Milinkovic-Savic and we get Bruno Fernandez, we get all that money back from selling Pogba. So that's logical. But I can't see us having Pogba, Milinkovic-Savic, Fernandes, Fred, McTominay, Pereira, Matic, Mata, Lingard. 9 players who can play in the midfield 3 positions. I just can't see it happening, to be honest with you. I think if we get Milinkovic-Savic, Pogba goes. And I think that I've always felt that Pogba was going to go. I'm now thinking he probably won't go because time's running out. But then again, if he is going, the way it's gone over the last few weeks makes sense. It's all gone quiet. Pogba's got a smile on his face. United go and do the business they need to do. Then they sell Pogba. It could still happen. It would be a big blow for United. But to be honest with you, it would be... If United went and got Milinkovic-Savic, Bruno Fernandez and sold Pogba, and they got Longstaff as well, I would say they've probably made the best out of a bad situation. Pogba goes, Longstaff, Milinkovic-Savic, Bruno Fernandez comes in. That's making the best of a bad situation. Because if a player wants to go and they're adamant they want to go, and you act mature like a big club and says you can go for a fair price, we're going to get our replacements in. I don't think that's going to happen because United, that's a ruthless, efficient transfer club, that is. We're not that. I don't think we can do it anyway. Cantona, the greatest number 7, says, Mark, I believe the club do want Bruno, but not for the price is needed. Sporting Lisbon is not a great league, remember. Jemba and Veron. Veron was from Italy. And Jemba was from France. Sporting Lisbon's in Portugal. I'm trying to help you out by thinking of players that have come from the Portuguese league that haven't done that well. But you know what? Bruno Fernandes had a probably arguably the best season in the Portuguese league last year in a weaker team than Benfica. And João Felix has just gone for 100 million. So you can understand why Sporting Lisbon wants 60 million. I disagree. I think Bruno Fernandes is worth 60 million, and I would argue that with anybody. You can say it's a weaker league, etc., etc., but he's a Portuguese first team international for the national side. He did brilliantly in the league last year. João Felix has just gone for 100 million. And on top of that, for me, he's worth that money. Yeah, he is worth that money. It's the same as Harry Maguire, isn't it? Loads of people say he's not worth 75 million, but actually he is, for a number of reasons. He's England's best centre-back. That adds 20 million on. He's Premier League proven. That adds 20 million on. Van Dijk went for 75 million from Leicester. That's a starting point. So, it's ridiculous money, but you can logically see why Leicester want it. And you either pay it or you don't. And as a football fan of the club, I just want them to... I don't really care whether United spend 300 million or they spend 250 million by cutting corners and bartering. All I want to see when we play Chelsea on August the 11th is Bruno Fernandes, Harry Maguire in Manchester United shirts. That's what I want to see. Ideally with Pogba. I think the question last night that we got about the CDM was brilliant. I think we do need a CDM. And it's interesting, actually. I didn't talk about this on the Transfer Daily this morning. But did you see the story about Fred and Turkey again coming up? And I was like, no. And it's worrying because this has been happening quite a lot with Fred. We needed a CDM coming into this, a centre defensive midfielder coming into this transfer window because McTominay's not a CDM. Herrera's gone. Pereira's not a CDM. He's talking about he wants to play the Beckham role. Matic is the only centre defensive midfielder we've got. He actually is the only one we've got. But Fred can play that position. And out of the two, Fred is streets ahead because he's quicker, he moves the ball quicker, and he's more tenacious, which is exactly what we need. I personally... If we don't sign a midfielder to play in that position, and I think Longstaff has been highlighted as that player, but if we don't sign Longstaff, I would like to see Fred play over Matic every day of the week. So it worries me that if Fred goes, what are we doing with that CDM position? Because Ollie's not stupid. Matic isn't that player. And even Matic at his best isn't that player. Even prime Matic, who was a good player, isn't that player. Because he doesn't, even prime Matic didn't move the ball quickly from back to front. And you've seen what United are like in pre-season, especially against Leeds. The speed that we moved the ball from back to front when Leeds attacked us killed them on the break. But you can only do that with Matic off the pitch. Because in the first half against Leeds, when we did that, Matic wasn't on the pitch. In the second half, we didn't do it when he came on. So we need somebody who can do that. And I don't see anybody that can. I'm drinking the cheap stuff tonight. That's all I've got left. We'll probably sign 2 if Pogba goes. Thoughts, says Hamza Al-Fadi. I think if Pogba goes, logically, Milinkovic-Savic and Bruno Fernandes is the best 2 we can do. that we're linked to. Reatrix says maybe the board thinks the name Manchester United is still good enough that players force a move to the club and therefore we don't need to pay high. Yeah, but you know what? I agree with that comment. If Harry Maguire wants to come to Manchester United, why isn't he making more of an effort? Sod the morality and noble, I'm not going to force a move, but I want to go. Idiot. Force the bloody move. Force the move. Force the move. And yeah, you're right. They're not forcing the move, so we're going to have to pay the money. The flop from Portugal was Pepe, says Nicky Courtney. Good one. But Sky Sports also said that Ed Woodward is not going to be part of the Chinese tour to work on transfers back at home. But I don't think Ed Woodward was in Perth or Singapore either, was he? I don't know. I never saw any pictures of him over there. Somebody said he's on holiday in Marbella. Hello? You are the person in charge of transfers. You can't have a holiday. Are we on holiday? Has the United Stand took a holiday? We've not took a holiday. We're all bloody working all summer. But that's the perfect thing, isn't it? The United Stand from middle of May to the end of the transfer window is working. We're grafting. We're doing transfer shows, transfer daily, 8 o'clock shows, all the way through because we know it's a busy time. And when it hits the international breaks, maybe we'll take the foot off the pedal. Rent me and Flex in a tent down in bloody Torquay or something like that. Lovely times. But and what goes on in the tent stays in the tent. But in seriousness, we're all engaged all summer. And our man who's in charge of transfers is on holiday in Marbella. It's bloody ridiculous. He's so rich. And don't come at me with, well, I've got to take a holiday in the summer because it's the school holidays or it's hot. Bollocks. You've got so much money, Ed. You can find the sun. You could bloody get a jet to the sun. But, you can go somewhere where it's hot in the international break. So I can't believe that he's in Marbella. I really can't. Canton Island, the greatest number 7, says, Mark, I agree with our board, but they won't spend on a player that plays in the Portuguese league. And if we truly, as a club, want to improve, then spend. Yes, I agree. We've got to spend. Simple as that. Here's Chloe Jenkins. Do not be shocked if we sign Toby before Friday, Mark, as Levy is adding another 15 million to the buyout clause. That is a very good point from Chloe. She always comes in at this point in the show and she's spot on. She is absolutely spot on. There was 2 stories today that if United don't get Maguire, they'll drift towards Koulibaly. And I saw something brilliant and I'm going to nick it. And basically, it was Ryan MEFC on Twitter. And he said something along the lines of, what a crock of shit. As if you would say, if we don't get Harry Maguire, let's go for Koulibaly. It's like being on the dance floor and trying to pull Suzanne Boyle. And if she says no, let's go and try Jessica Alba. You go for the ugly one first and then the good looking one second. That's not the way it goes. And if you don't know who Suzanne Boyle is, she's about 60 and yeah, you wouldn't. But Jessica Alba, you probably would. So yeah, I don't get that. But then I heard another story about United might just go for Alderweireld because on Friday, his £25 million release clause is over. It was only for the month of July. I actually thought it went to August the 8th, to be honest, but some people are saying it's gone on Friday, which doesn't make any sense because Friday's the 27th. So it can't be Friday. I would have thought August the 1st. Anyway, regardless of that, we might go for Alderweireld. Heath Farley says, never going to happen, but imagine if we signed Bruno, Pepe, Savic and Slabhad. Oh my God, cheeky Mr. Woodward and the Weasels. I tell you what, Heath Farley, if United, in the next 2 weeks and 2 days, signed Bruno Fernandez, Pepe, Milinkovic-Savic and Harry Maguire, we would, as fans, we would never, ever, ever know what's going to happen in the transfer window for United again. We wouldn't. We would never go. We would never know because we would go, remember that summer transfer window 2019? It was going really slow. We needed to do all this business and we only had James and Wan-Bissaka. And in the last 2 weeks went and bought 4 players. That's why it's not going to happen, isn't it? We're never going to be sat there as United fans saying, we can do anything we want in a transfer market because that's a gimmick and it's not true. But it would be nice if we did that because I think every other transfer window after that, we'd be constantly like, you just don't know. You just don't know. You don't know. Devon Foster says, don't you think Milinkovic-Savic, Pogba and Fernandes could play in a 4-2-3-1 midfield? I think it could work really well. Look, mate, I've seen... The player I've seen the least out of those 3 is Bruno Fernandez, and I've seen Bruno Fernandez quite a few times. Not like 30, 40 times. I've probably seen him about 10 times in the last year or so. And and I like what I've seen. I've seen a lot of bloody clips about him, but like actual matches, I'm not going to bullshit you. Probably have seen him play 10 games. I like Bruno Fernandez. I've seen Milinkovic-Savic more than that because I do watch Serie A, and we saw him in the World Cup last year. And Pogba, obviously I watch him every week. From what I know about those players in a midfield three, you might score 8 goals, but you might sit 6 in. There's no defensive linchpin there. There's no, and you need 2 really. You know, I think Bruno Fernandes can play box to box, Milinkovic-Savic can play box to box, and Pogba can play box to box. But none of them are defensive minded really. That's not their A game. So you play that midfield 3, and you come up against a team like Man City. Where's your defensive side of the game? I think we'd struggle. I think against some of the better teams, some of the bottom half teams, it would work. But I don't see that happening. I don't. I think if Milinkovic-Savic comes to this club, Pogba's gone. Yeah, and Bruno Fernandes is independent of Pogba anyway. A lot of outlets are saying that, but I've known that for a long time. United are not waiting for Pogba go to sign Bruno Fernandes, because Bruno Fernandes was never a replacement for Pogba. He was about bringing him in to play with Pogba. Let's have a look here. So, Anup Alyapan says, I don't think Real can afford Pogba nor Juve unless they sell. And who are they trying to sell? Bale, who takes Modric, who takes... They can't sell and raise money. I'm optimistic about it. Maybe China could pay Bale. It's whether Bale wants to go to China, isn't it? His agent has said that he is not going to go on loan anywhere. So... yeah, I mean, James Rodriguez is off to Atletico Madrid apparently, but I don't know whether there's a transfer fee involved. I think if Real Madrid could scavenge together about 80 million, they could probably add another 70 themselves and sign him. Ryan Football says we need both Savic as a box-to-box midfielder and Bruno to play advanced. Maguire and Lindelof as 2 playing centre-backs, and why not swap Icardi for Lukaku? How about Isco? Well, look, the Lukaku news is a bit worrying, because if we don't do that deal, it's a trouble, isn't it? Absolute Muppet says reports Edward was on holiday and has now just returned. Again, I mean, why be on holiday? But having said that, United don't normally do business when they're on tour. Right, I've just got to say something. I've completely forgotten about this. 2 things I've got to say. First of all, let me just make sure it's in the video description. Yeah, August the 8th, United Stand get together, ticket inquiries to unitedstandorders@gmail.com. So, what's happened is, on August the 8th, for our 500,000 subscribers, we'd arranged to do a get together in London at a venue. And we gave out about 150 free tickets. However, the event has been oversubscribed and we've had to move it to another event now, another location now, which holds, I think, 350 people. So there are more tickets available now. So if you want to come to our August the 8th get-together, which is in London, it's transfer deadline day night as well. That's not a coincidence, because we will be filming stuff and everything there, and Q&As and giveaways and etc. Do emails at unitedstandorders@gmail.com. You can have a maximum of 2 tickets, and you've got to be over 18. There's no, I'm coming with my dad or this, that and the other. You've got to be over 18 because it's that sort of an event. In the video description, have a read. We've got people flying in from LA. We've got people flying in from, I think, Norway as well. So looking forward to that. If you weren't aware that the venue's been changed, we're using an event site called Eventbrite. So emails have gone out with the new address location to those people who are thinking, shit, I haven't had anything. You've had an email. So, yes, that's how you do it. Unitedstandorders@gmail.com if you're interested in that. And what I would say as well, tomorrow, make sure around lunchtime that you are subscribed, bottom right hand corner, and you've got your notifications on, because the vlog that Flex and Josh are doing in China tomorrow is going to be brilliant. I've seen some of the footage they've got in the hotel lobby with United players. They're also tomorrow at the open training session, so they'll get a load more stuff there. So it's going to be really, really good, that is. Yeah. So yeah, let's have a look. We've had a few super chats while I was chatting away there. So let me just see what we haven't done. Brandon B says, do you think Aloha Traore could be the answer for CDM? He is from our youth setup and looks like he could make an impact soon. I think I've definitely mentioned him a few times, Brandon. We got him from PSG when he was 16, and he is physically, for a young lad, looks like he's going to be an absolute monster in that midfield. It's just about whether he can take that next step. He is one that I've been really excited about, because remember, United bought loads of players between 15 and 16 from all over Europe, and we're still doing it now. But nobody's really come through yet. I mean, Greenwood's from our youth setup. So Chong we did bring in, he's sort of coming through. Gomez is from our youth setup. So Yeah, I hope he is good, to be honest. Amar, don't want players just for the sake of it. Bruno really top tier, top 4 level, and we are stuck with them. The link players may be an improvement, but I'd rather they are best options. One centre-back is a must. I agree with you on that. And Hamza Al-Fadi says, recent report Yahoo France, Lille have rejected proposal from Manchester United for Nicola Pepe. Well, if Lille have rejected £70 million, I would walk away from that deal anyway, because you're starting to wander into the territory of £100 million, of which Jadon Sancho would go for. I've always said with Nicola Pepe, whether it's Liverpool or wherever he goes, he's not that. He's scored a lot of goals for Lille, for God's sake. He's not scored a lot of goals for Real Madrid. He's not a £70 million player. He's a £50 million player. So if they want more than 70 million, you've got to walk about it. Anaban Batashaji says, tomorrow is Ollie's presser. Mark, yes, as I understand it, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference tomorrow morning is 9 a.m. UK time. I'll double check that. If it's 6 a.m, I'll still get up and do it. It's 9 a.m. UK time. So there's no Transfer Daily at 7 a.m. tomorrow. I'll be live at 9 a.m. We're encompassing the latest transfer news with an Ole Gunnar Solskjaer press conference reaction, as we always do on this channel. So tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. UK time, if you are at work or you're on your school holidays or whatever, pop into the toilets, and if you're at work, or maybe your work's quite happy to let you watch me on the phone with your headphones on. Actually, yeah, those days are gone of going into your toilets, aren't you? Yeah, my last few jobs you could have YouTube on as long as you were working. So 9 a.m. tomorrow, yeah, I'll be live with the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer press conference, and I think he will get asked a lot of questions about transfers again. But I would imagine Ollie might just say, it's nothing to do with me, it's Woodward, which I think is a good answer. A very good answer. Amar says, yeah, we've done that one. Yeah, we did that one from Amar. Yeah, we did. Zachary Purvis, thoughts on Fernandes being a number 9 in the mould of Firmino at Liverpool? He can be that false 9 while Rashi and Martial are sprinting off the wings. I think he can play in a number of positions. To be honest, Bruno Fernandes. But I would like to see him in a midfield 3 with the responsibility to get back and forward as well, because I think he can do both. We've seen him for Portugal playing very deep in the Nations League. He can do it, and he's got that ability from 30-40 yards to shoot as well, set-piece delivery. He got the lot. Right, people want a recap, so I'm just going to blast through for this 60 seconds recap. And while I'm doing it, please subscribe if you're new. Bottom right-hand corner, we're very close to 509,000. If everybody who hasn't subscribed subscribes now, bottom right-hand corner, we'll do it. And if you feel left out because you're already a subscriber, smash the like button as well. We could hit 2,000 likes. But recap then. Nicola Pepe, from a local Lille outlet that is apparently reliable, according to Get French Football News, United have bid £70 million. But whilst we're on air, Yahoo France are saying that that's been rejected. Ridiculous. He's not worth £70 million. Next story. Milinkovic-Savic, according to La Repubblica in Italy, who are again considered to be quite reliable, are saying that Manchester United are very close to signing Milinkovic-Savic for €70 million. This is why Pogba looks relaxed, because he knows he's going to Madrid, but United have got to get a replacement in first. Sky Sports and The Independent both talking about Bruno Fernandez to Manchester United today. Bruno Fernandez himself saying he wants to come to England. Sporting Lisbon wants £60 million. Will Manchester United get that deal over the line? He's playing against Liverpool tomorrow night in New York in a pre-season friendly. Sean Longstaff, Newcastle Chronicle, are saying that Manchester United are expected to go in with another bid. Newcastle want 50 million, but would probably accept 30 million. United have been tracking him all summer. Gazzetta dello Sport are saying that Lukaku is not a deal that can be done for Conte, so they'll now look at Dzeko. Dangerous. We do need to get that deal done. And Ed Woodward will not be in China for the tour, as he stays back in England to finalise some transfer deals with 14 days to go. I should be a newsreader. I never lost eye contact and I blitzed through. I tell you what, if we did 60-second roundups or however long that took, that was a pretty good recap. Could the Weasels and Ed be forced to spend big United dropping places on Forbes plus dropping stocks and the Glazers out movement? Yeah, I don't know. I think a lot of this we can talk about it, of course, but I think we're just gonna have to wait till August the 8th, aren't we, and see what happens. Definitely. And I'm just going to give DJ Logical a shout out because he says he's from Jamaica and he loves the show. Well, I tell you what, I think you're all fantastic. I've really enjoyed the show tonight. It's been a good show because we've actually had so much to talk about. You know, sometimes you'd have 50% of that and you'd be able to talk for 40 minutes. So yeah, really enjoyed the show. Good rhythm to it. I'll be live tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. for the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer press conference reaction. I'm sure there'll be some nuggets coming out of that. But have a nice evening, everybody. I'll speak to you in the morning, unless something breaks a little bit later. I must admit, we do sort of feel like we're wandering into that territory a little bit now, with a little bit of breaking news maybe happening a little later on. So you never know. So make sure you're subscribed and all that jazz. I'll speak to you all very soon. Thanks for watching.